It's alive! It's alive!
All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you are alive and well. We're back. We're going to do some more Higurashi when they cry. I know I've said this like twice now, but I think this is the last time. I think this is the last part. It seems very end gamey. Oh, God. No. Oh, my God. Sorry, the volume was up. And that is copyrighted music. I know that because one of my shit got claimed. So can't have that. Oopsie. Sorry about that. Hello. I saw Ray and I Love FNAF in chat. I haven't looked since I saw you guys. Hello. Hello, guys. Okay. Okay, the game being weird. Okay, here we go. I got it up. It's okay. Bunny Pop, hello. I see you too. I don't see anybody else yet. I gotta pull chat back up. Sorry I'm late. You're late by like 30 seconds. It's not that. Yeah, no need to apologize. But yeah, no, okay, so before the stream, this is something that I just want to talk about beforehand. So again, I think this is probably going to be the last part of this chapter, of the overall chapter 1 of this whole series of games, visual novel. Hopefully, because I do have other games that I want to play. But so I think starting when I come back to this game and we start chapter 2, after I play a couple other games, I'm gonna change some stuff up. Like the voice for Reina is gonna be a little bit different. Like the voice mod that I have is I found other voices. I still like the AI ones. I still like
I still like this one. This one's good. I still like this one. So the first one was Satoko. This one is Rika. Jesus Christ. I don't know how I forgot that. And this one was Mion. I'm keeping those ones, but Reina. This is Reina's, and that's going to change. This one is going to change the next chapter. Not this time. We're gonna stick with this one for now. But once we start chapter 2, whenever that is, we're going to change it to this. This is going to we're gonna swap out voice actors. The voice actor for Reina couldn't come back, so we're going to use this one.
Next when we start chapter 2, but for the sake of keeping everything together and cohesive for now, we'll stick with the usual voices. And also, something that I found that I really think is super cool, I have an app for the voice modulator, and I found a bunch of, like, sound effects and shit. So, like, I have a laugh track here. They just have some of this stuff programmed in, so I can, like... like, I have this. Or if I wanted some, like, creepy music, background music. Oh, here, let me do this. Like, I could just play this. Or, like... Oh, gosh, dang, yeah. A little bit of a build if I need something. If I'm trying to... Oh my god, I think that is, I think that's probably double playing. Damn it. Okay, I'll have to figure that out. But hey, we got sound effects and shit that I can play around with. That I'll be introducing. I'm gonna figure out a way to get this. I just found them today before the stream, so I'll look into that. But yeah, we get some sound effects here. I'm gonna have to see how that works. But anyway, hello guys. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I just had to go off on that tangent for a moment. I can't stay out in Walmart. Go shop. You're shopping, huh? Okay, no worries, no worries. Do your holiday shopping. I think I don't know, or whatever it is you're doing. I love FNAF going when I come back to this game. You feeling safe with the sound effects? It's night for me. Yeah, those are. I chose some of the creepier ones. Well, here let's do. Hold on. Do this so it doesn't overlap. But here we'll do. Let me do this. I know I played some creepy ones for a moment, but here's a better one. All right, see, there's some people laughing and whatever. What else? What else do we have? I didn't go through like everything. There's a lot of love sounds. There's bunch of kisses. Right? That's the sound effect called bunch of kisses. Great. What is this? No. What is Oh, here we go. There we go. Perfect. All right, I found a bunch of fart noises. Yay! That's what we want. That's the good stuff. That's awesome. I love that. Anyway, I'll have fun with those. I'll set those up for other games. I probably won't do that for visual novels and stuff, but when we get into other games, I'll do Poppy Playtime. Part 3 is the next game on the list once we get done with this one. So, bye, Bunny Pop. I see you saying bye. Bye, guys. Okay. Thanks for coming by. It was good to see you, and have a good day. Have fun shopping at Walmart. But yeah, sick. We got fart noises. There was burps in there too somewhere. I'll look into it later. Right now, we gotta go back. Let's get oriented back into the current game that we got going on, which is Higurashi When They Cry. Again, I think this is going to be the last part. I think it started to take that dive into creepy territory with Reina getting right up in her faces and being like, "You're a liar," and then she like heard us talking to the police officer. And we were talking about how we were keeping shit from our friends and stuff, and she overheard that. So it's about to get nasty, I think. Bro, my dad just walked past my room and it's night. Oof, creepy. Seeing the shadow underneath, probably. Yeah, that's that's no fun. Anyway, I'm gonna turn this back on. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to continue on here. I think that's where we left off, was the police officer told us about Tomitake's death, and then, all the people that went missing, and it seems to be a recurring thing. There might be a conspiracy going on, and then Reina's keeping something from me, and so is me. Everybody might be keeping shit from us, and we're keeping shit from them, and they're calling me out for it, and Reina's being creepy. There's something about being demoned away. It's getting good. It's getting good, basically. Anyway, chat's going off, and then I'm gonna boot myself out of exit. Oh wait, hold on. Before I do that, shut up. I just wanted to do that. Anyway, here we go. Booping myself out. Boop. There we go, and picking it up. Audio levels are good. I got my voice changers on there. Okay, we're good. Let's go. Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. What's wrong, Keiichi? You don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in my front door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite. My, you do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Reina. It was Reina. Reina-chan came to get you. What are you going to do? Are you going to take the day off? Reina was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Reina's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be. I'll rest. Sorry. Then I'll go send her off for you. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Reina, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived, I quickly fell asleep into a slumber. I only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I found lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would be back for dinner, but might be a bit late. On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right, I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. I'm pulling something up. I'm doing these I'm clearing my throat every so often in between these things, and I'm afraid it's being picked up on mic and is super annoying. I'm very paranoid about that. So I'm pulling up my phone so I can mute myself anytime I need to do that. Swear. Okay. All right. Sweet. All right. Just so it's not I'm not clearing my throat and making weird throat noises into your guys' ears. That's gotta be kind of gross. So, anyway, back to it. as I make throat noises to get prepared again into it, as I just said I didn't want to do that. Anyway, normally I'd never be here in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Irie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. Maebara-san, please make your way to the examination room. After half-heartedly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately, then it was worth it. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it just wasn't for that, would...
Must have been an Onikakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped.
These are two people. These are two different people. Do the same voice. They're elderly though, so we'll do like one man, one woman. This will be the woman. Why not? With whom?
That man from Tokyo who visits every season. That young one with that big camera. Didn't you know they were getting along pretty well?
Were they talking about Tomitake-san? I could feel my ears perking up. I don't know about that, but you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit their job or something.
It's an elopement because they didn't leave a note or message.
The thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad.
Takano-san.
Takano?
Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes.
So her name was Takano-san. Not Takono-san. I'm fucking stupid. So her name was Takano-san. The woman with Tomitake-san. And she worked at this clinic? Oyashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I may as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far into the middle of the road where I'd be in car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved.
Maibara-san, good day to you.
It was Uishi-san. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me.
What's up today? School on break?
Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was about to buy lunch and head back home.
That's great. I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me.
I was just going to lie down after going home anyway, and I didn't really have a cold.
I expect you'd rather avoid using one of the local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive, is that all right? I know a pretty good place.
I'd finally begun to understand Uishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. I went with Uishi-san, riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie.
I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry with you?
No. I recalled Reina, who had been listening on the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This was where Tomitake-san died. They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitake-san. Uishi-san spoke Uishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. They believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with the premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. You know that thing you see in comics all the time, where there's a drug that doesn't leave any traces after being consumed? It exists. You kidding me? Hold on. I gotta say this in my regular voice. Succinylchol. What the fuck? What is this drug? Succinylchol. Suckle on me. Okay. Sorry. It exists. Succinylchol something or other. Well, it's pretty common. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomitake-san to react like that. Then you're saying the police concluded Tomitake-san just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I just wanted the idea of a curse to be dissociated from Tomitake-san's mysterious death. Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans. That made me a bit relieved. We passed in front of the other desolate but still busier than Hinamizawa train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot and I followed Uishi-san into the shop. Bye, LFNF. I see you have to go. Thanks for coming by. It's good to see you. And I'll be back on Thursday doing something else maybe. Thanks for coming. Bye. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course, there wouldn't be children in here in the middle of a weekday. 2, please. I'll make do with non-smoking. This way, please. When you are ready to order, please call me over. We were led by a peculiarly... It's a weird word. We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress. I still fucked it up. We were led by a peculiarly... Son of a bitch. Peculiarly. We were led by a I can't say. Okay, I have to do this. Peculiarly. We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Uishi-san in the booth. I just can't fucking talk. Like, this is full of just really hard words to pronounce. Jeez. Sorry. So, what do you think? Aren't the waitresses' outfits here cute? Huh? Well, I guess? This shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses than the food, you see. Uh-huh. Uishi-san, you're leering. Hmm? Am I really? I'm glad you're enjoying me struggling to read. That fills me with joy. Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Uishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table. Yesterday, we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we? Yeah, that it was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my mother about it this morning. Uishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onigafuchi, the Demon's Abyss. Onigafuchi? That's quite the name. The name is still around. The swamp where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Onigafuchi. It said that the depths of the swamp connect to the realm of the demons. Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous swamp. And you see, it appears that they were both feared and revered. A respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was kind of a deification. A village of inhuman creatures. Seems the demons were sayin, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts. Villagers with incurable illnesses would be taken to Onigafuchi to be healed, for example. Even if we are calling them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or sayin would be more of an apt description. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons. But they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my mother told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went. The price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the villagers of Onigafuchi, the demons, chased, surrounded, and captured them. The entire village, apparently. It's quite a frightening thing to imagine. In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. There's a problem with this story. Both witnesses in this story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the tale. Huh? There's plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Uishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. But, well, there are quite a few other tales, where the demons from Onigafuchi band together and capture their prey. I recalled that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part of unification, about unification overlapped. They would always hunt down a single person, and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh? That caught my attention. Uishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant. My mother told me that you must never intervene with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So, what does this all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words. What happens if you break that rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the entire village was in on the crime. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. Then, Uishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the entire village or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think, Mayabare-san? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please. That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say the last part. He waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking.
Last year, I had a nagging feeling that Satoshi-kun disappeared.
Uishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee.
So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Maebara-san, I had a bit, really just a little bit, okay, of background checking done on them.
If Uishi-san had said this to me before, I would have gotten angry at him for calling my friends into question. But as I was now, I couldn't.
This might sound pretty stupid, Maebara-san. If you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop.
Uishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I've ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Uishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That was all I could utter. Uishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began. I have to take a drink to prepare for this, I'm sure. He's going to be speaking and I got to do that gravelly voice. Preparing myself.
The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations.
Uishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up.
In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? Their daughter was with them at the time. Her name is Satoko Hoju-san.
Huh? Satoko? Meaning Satoko? Uishi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down.
The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year, you see. Their daughter is Rika Furude-san.
Rika-chan was...
The housewife who died in the fourth year, you know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoko Hoju-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody as she had lost both of her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house.
I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, but one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way to my feet.
The one who disappeared the fourth year, by the way, he was Satoko-san's older brother.
What? Wait. Just a second. It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. But Uishi was restless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard.
All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends.
That has to just be a coincidence.
Maebara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking.
Mion? Satoko? Rika? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Reina is different, isn't she? Reina isn't connected with the victims at all.
Reina Ryugu-san was living in a suburb of Ibarika.
Prefecture?
Ibarika Prefecture up until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims.
He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected?
Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all the windows.
Reina did that? She broke all the windows at her school. That same spacey Reina had... I can't even imagine it.
It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonemia. Dysautonemia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication.
I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those matched Reina's easygoing personality.
And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Reina-san. It shows up. And quite a bit at that.
What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret.
She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama.
It felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Reina spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa?
Seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow, looking down at her.
My mind froze. I couldn't process what was being told.
A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider.
Huh?
According to their residency register, the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamizawa. They moved to Ibaraka just as Reina-san entered elementary school.
My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension.
Maebara-san, are you all right? Shall we stop?
Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now I know about Reina. Then how about the last victim, Tomitake-san? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal.
All of them. Have you forgotten, Maebara-san? Didn't you all spend the night at the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves.
No, there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush.
We should get going. Maebara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine?
I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. Boom! That big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I had heard Tomitake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car.
I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation.
Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really, just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer.
I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop.
Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Uishi-san was investigating the string of suspicious incidents, but why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Uishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, possibly know? By chance, if there was a reason for Uishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I was part of Mion's circle of friends who looked suspicious to Uishi-san.
I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my mother wants. So, while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light.
So, Uishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them. Uishi-san didn't really give a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings.
This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. Maebara-san, you're the one in danger.
Huh? I wanted to reply with, "That's absurd," but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it.
I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things.
In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the next victim.
I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing.
Pressure? From what?
Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine?
After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears.
I won't mind if you just forget everything I told you today, but I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oyashiro-sama's curse this year.
So, you're saying I should contact you if anything happens?
It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, Maebara-san.
I wasn't collected enough to understand Uishi-san's roundabout way of saying it.
Be sure to take it easy. I'm sure throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick.
Hold on, I want to see what... Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick.
I didn't really give any sort of response.
I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now.
The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked-up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Uishi-san was being unfair. Telling me I was going to be the next victim, then just saying to contact him if something happened. That wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. And I was just the bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator, or was it really just Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Damn it. I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the car AC from the car. Creepy. So, I'm dead. Fuck. Uh-oh, Reina's gonna kill me. There's no way. That's my prediction. Reina's gonna myrtleize the shit out of me. Perfect timing. Sorry, I gotta pull chat up. Is it, Icy the rabbit? Is that... The text is super small on my screen, I'm sorry. I have not played this game before. I have seen the first season of this anime. That's the only exposure that I had, and it made me want to play all the games. That's why I'm here. But no, I haven't played through the game before. I don't know. I know, yeah, I don't know how accurate the anime is to this, so I don't know if I'm missing stuff or whatever, but it doesn't matter. I saw the first season of the anime, that's why I'm here. Anyway. Jeez. Oh, and I love FNAF. Hello, welcome back. Anyway, I'm gonna get back into it. Excuse me. I wonder how much time had passed since I'd laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it. Hello, this is the Maebara residence. Oh. I haven't been able to use my voice changer at all. I just realized I'm using a voice changer. Okay, well.
I just realized I haven't been able to do this at all this time. Oh, he's alive. Hello, this is Mion. How you doing?
This is one of Keiichi's friends. Keiichi is resting now, but shall I put him on?
Huh? Is this his dad? Sorry.
You idiot. You fell for it.
Kei-chan.
After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me.
I'm relieved that you seem well. Reina was really worried, you know. Satoko-chan was happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said how unfortunate he's sick.
Looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it.
Well, you know. So, Kei-chan, is now a bad time to come pay you a visit?
A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying.
My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them, so I'll bring you some.
Hey now, you'll catch my cold.
Not to worry, both Reina and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See ya. Be there in a bit.
She hung up cheerfully. Reina's coming too? That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Reina, but I guess if she was with Mion. I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later.
How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest?
I did just that.
Thank goodness you look well. I was worried.
Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow. Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Reina looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions.
I thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it.
You don't say. It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen.
Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are the mochi Michan's grandma made.
Reina held out the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty. Thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mion.
Yep. There's one that I made in there as well. I wonder if Keiichi-kun can guess which one.
This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow.
What? Were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities?
Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow.
Man, what are you gonna do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans?
Michan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry.
Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entranceway was a mess.
You're right, let's get going. By the way, Kei-chan.
Yeah?
What did you eat for lunch?
The sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I had never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why? Is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? What she said was so inane, it was almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't even care at all about what I ate. I ate out. She must have suspected that I was with Uishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied.
So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun?
The glimmer of Reina's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more, as if she already knew. That's how it looked to me.
Well, was it good?
Why are you asking me this? Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone, almost as if she knew that I had eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was.
Seems you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he?
Flop. The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale.
Oh? Keiichi-kun? Who was he? Could it be the person from before, I wonder?
I could feel the back of my throat getting dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything. How do you know that? It took everything I had to finally force those words out of my throat. My knees were shaking.
Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know.
Mion sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever.
So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? Seems like you got pretty worked up over it, too.
We weren't talking about you guys. It didn't even have anything to do with you or Reina.
Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about that?
Reina's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like I was going to explode.
Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that.
I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly.
Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should lie down.
That's true. We should both head back home.
As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I dropped the package of mochi. As they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was about closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. A single eye appeared through the narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again.
See you, Kei-chan.
Yeah.
I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow, alright?
Thud. The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after their low laughter died off into the distance, and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. They knew that Uishi-san and I had talked. They knew what Uishi-san and I had talked about. Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Uishi-san met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then, what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Uishi-san about one thing. And they were warning me that that was unnecessary? What was it that Uishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Jesus Christ. The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but they were connected as a whole, as well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Reina, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I thinking about? I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare, but for some reason it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maribara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Uishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at the time. They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious, since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it. That has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Reina. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I had met Uishi-san, and Reina was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the casual, mild-mannered Reina, and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. It felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out of my nose and ears if you squeezed my head. Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. I didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think that they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of everything, they were really kind to me. Reina was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was really pretty cute. Mion is also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Uishi-san and Tometake-san, when I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, things started going crazy. Then hearing from Uishi-san that Mion, Reina, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. After that, everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Uishi-san told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. I shouldn't even have asked Tometake-san about the past incidents on the night of the Watanagashi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity. If I just hadn't... That's right. So, that's why they killed? Is that supposed to be killed? Weird. So that's why they killed Tometake-san? Fucked? I'll go with fucked. So that's why they fucked Tometake-san. That impudent outsider speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. They'll probably fuck me. Okay. I'm not gonna do that. It's kill. It's totally kill, right? They'll probably kill Uishi-san as well. For trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left unburied. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course a guy like that is going to be killed. Both Tometake-san and Uishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Hinamizawa. Those guys should just fall to Oyashiro-sama's curse and just die. it wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. 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 I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I had just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I had completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in the club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them, after all. Oh, that reminds me. I need to eat those mochi. I hope I'm able to tell which one Reina made. I remember the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But, wow, our club did delivery? That was something else. I picked up the package and dropped on the floor and headed... I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed into the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh, this was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrapping, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written from left to right on the newspaper, A, B, C, D, and E. Now then, they said Reina made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Reina's had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. So, well, that, just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out. Looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one is Reina's. Calm down and think harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them and was told to give some out, if I remembered correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from that large batch. Then what about Reina? She probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it, meaning the one Reina had made was this one, E. For a moment I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid, as she knew I'd pick up on it, but that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Reina made it, it probably wasn't a trap. Alright, my tea is ready too. I'll start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see. Not bad. The smooth bean paste and soft, chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Now, how about Reina's? The creation was so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first, a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factor would be presentation and volume. The well-formed and well-sized champion versus Reina the challenger with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I'd only had 1 bite of Reina's. I'd probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset. Seems my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. What? What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Reina had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand and that performed such a vile act. Then I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first, I thought it was a hair. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Reina's hair was still quite long, and it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around my tongue. There was a bit of metallic sheen on one end of it. Yes, there was a hole for where thread goes through, like it was a sewing needle. Yeah, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. It really did just look like a sewing needle. Huh? What did I mean by looked very much like a sewing needle? Just a bit ago, I couldn't answer, but a voice inside me already knew and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. A sharp paste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both my hands together over my mouth. After writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was throbbing intensely. Then it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. Splat, plop, splort. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out to the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under my covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a treat or warning or reminder, nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answers to any of these questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Reina and Mion and others, they considered me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I was being drawn into a billowing, bottomless swamp. Oh, is that it? That might be it. They put fucking needles in there. That's it. Oh my god. They totally put needles in his food. That's not okay. Hard to swallow is the achievement. Enjoy a homemade snack is the achievement that I just got. Whoa, okay. That was the end of that chapter. But we're looking good on time. Well, we got plenty of time to do it. I'm going to boot me back into existence here. Boop. There we go. Sweet. Hello. Woo, what a chapter. What a chapter. Oh my god. Icebot and it's Vesito, sorry. Hello, welcome. It's good to see you guys. How's it going? I'll go back through chat a little bit. Let's see. It's one of my favorite series. I think this is super fun. Yeah, nice, awesome. Yeah, I've been really excited to get into this this series, the visual novels in particular, just because like that's the original material and stuff. I assume it's probably the best of the properties, I suppose. Anyway, let's see. Hello, it's outer. Outer. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, they definitely believe that they're so creepy. They are creepy. Yeah, I mean, that's the point, though, right? Like, these are supposed to be our friends, but now they're acting creepy. There's something suspicious. They're weird. Something's going on, and that's they're what's happening. I do love this story. I love this so far. I do love slow burns. It took us a while, but like, there's just constant like creepiness happening. It's nonstop now. They've turned on me. They're filling my shit with needles and whatever. Whatever. I really like your voice for Keiichi. It fits him nicely. Thank you. Awesome. I usually just do my voice, my normal one for like the main characters. So, yeah, sweet. I'm glad it fits. What are your theories currently since you've seen the anime, but how the visual novel comparing to the anime from what you remember? It's of course it's going a little bit slower. I feel like there's a lot more filler in the visual novel, but it's to set up the world, to set up these characters and get us familiar with them and everything. So I don't mind it. I actually like that a lot more. Because like there's a part specifically that I remember from the anime that I do not want to spoil because I have a feeling it might be coming up here. But there's a specific part that's always stuck in my mind since I watched the anime. And I feel it coming, and I don't want to. I guess I'm not even gonna really talk about it. Did I save this? I don't know if I did. Okay. Yeah, I can't really talk about it. I think it might be coming up. So, yeah, I'm liking this. I guess since we're only on the first chapter, like chapters within chapters is still so confusing. Yeah, no, I'm still excited to see where it goes. I want to see if there's like any differences from what I remember. Theories, I have like even the anime left me super confused because I only watched season 1. I don't know if they had more seasons than that. I never went past that though. And season 1 ended on such a very weird note, on like a huge cliffhanger of questions. It was just I was made of questions when the first season of the anime ended. So, not having going past that, I'm sure there's a lot more answers that I'll discover along the way. I don't really, even when I watched the anime, I don't know. I had no theories. I was like, I just was confused and intrigued the entire time. And I mean, I never got any answers. So we're still in that mode here for me. I think there's got to be something supernatural. There is. I don't know. I don't believe that this town. Again, knowing what I know from the anime, if it takes those similar turns, it's got to be supernatural. There's got to be demons and whatever. But again, I'm not going to spoil anything that I know about from the anime, but whatever. Anyway, we're gonna go on. I'm gonna do one more chapter. Maybe this is the last one. I actually don't know, but we're gonna do one more. So strap in, I guess. Actually. Yeah, no, I'm good. I can do it. Reina or Mion preference, or about the same? I like Mion a lot. I do. I like her. I like her personality. She's very fun. Rika's like, yeah, she's like cutesy and whatever. And like, I do like Reina. She's kind of like a sweetheart. Very like innocent and everything. But I like Mion, she just seems like more fun. She calls herself old man. And is making like sex jokes all the time. I like Mion a lot. She's somebody that I would absolutely hang out with for sure, like in real life. Sounds great. Is the game like the anime so far? I believe so. Again, there's a lot more I think in this. Like I believe I can't remember. Like I wish I could remember if it was by the end of episode 1 in the anime that this thing happens. There's something that hasn't happened yet but there's something crazy that happens that I feel like it was at the end of episode 1. It's been so long since I've seen it. That's why I'm like, I don't want to talk about it too much to spoil anything for people. Game's a lot more slow burn. Yeah, okay. And there's like, there's 8 chapters. Yeah, absolutely. So this is just chapter 1, right, out of 8. So, and this is part 5 of my series, minimum 2 hours each part. So it's got a lot. It's definitely got a lot of substance, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm very curious to see what else is in store for us here. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that thing that I'm hinting at, but I don't want to talk about. I feel it coming. It's coming. Anyway, I'm gonna boot me out. Boop, there we go, and we're gonna go back into it. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was ascertaining if I was inside. All of the things I should have been doing, I continued on with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door, it was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, it was sheer terror. Please just leave. Hey, why isn't my body awake yet? If they came into my room right now, then... Ah! I sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. Whoa! Keiichi, what's the matter? Sorry. I was still half asleep. I thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m., but the morning sun was already streaming through the gap between the curtains. It felt like morning. It felt nothing like morning. Yesterday, I must have fallen asleep right after that. Then I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest, but it didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up and my sense of balance felt off. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well. Well, Keiichi, how are you feeling? Can you make it to school? I felt far from well enough. No, I wasn't mentally fit to go. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? Or what if it had pierced my tongue? There was undoubtedly a murderous intent, but I didn't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other, more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method as having me swallow a needle, meaning I didn't want to believe it, but going that far was a threat from Reina and Mion. Aren't you glad you didn't die? But next time we'll use more assured method. Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this. Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine? Yeah, kinda. Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill. It'll be hard for you to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get on up. They say wellness is a state of mind. I heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone. Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is already ready. There isn't much time before Reina-chan comes to get you. My mom's tone meant it. I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. By the way, were you the one who got bean paste all over the living room wall, Keiichi? You shouldn't do something like that. Your father was quite angry. I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me any further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. What Mion said as she left yesterday, I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow. came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I didn't even have to really think about it. She was saying, don't be absent. Taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I should just go about living my life as if nothing happened. If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. If I acted differently, someone like Uishi-san, for example, might end up noticing that something is up. Meaning, if I didn't watch my mouth or did anything differently from the norm, in effect, it would end up communicating something to those who were undesirable. And it seems that that was something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. So if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these last few days, I'd be able to keep on living like normal. There's no way such a selfish thing could... I swallowed hard. I once again deliberated on the idea that I just rejected. Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rule of theirs, a chance. Was that what I did? Really? Something so unforgivable? But Mion had given me another chance. She was saying if I just forgot everything and kept on living like I had been, I'd be forgiven. Keiichi, your food is going to get cold. Hurry up and get down here. Reina will be here if you don't hurry. Coming. I crammed my textbooks into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked at my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed that I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Reina. Given yesterday's events, she'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. I needed to be ready to head to school by then. I had forgotten everything that had happened the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to my normal life. For this to be normal, I'll have to be where I normally meet up with Reina. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. I jumped at the sound of and dropped my chopsticks. That chime signaled that Reina had arrived. Mom hurried me along. Come on, Reina. Reina-chan's already here. Oh, sorry. Come on, Reina-chan's already here. Hurry, hurry. My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Reina, who was waiting there on the other side of the door. The Reina on the other side. Was it the Reina I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual.
Morning.
An invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway.
I came since Keiichi-kun was a bit late. Will he be okay today, I wonder?
The manner in which Reina was concerned was, without a doubt, the Reina I knew. But that was probably only if I reciprocated. If forget everything from yesterday, pretend as though nothing had happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their death and the terminal illness and suicide, the fatal beatings, the disappearances. Forget it. Forget all of it. Forget that Reina and Mion were scary. Of course, forget it all. Forget about all of it. Forget about the mochi, too. Forget. Reina once again asked to make sure.
Can you make it to school?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great, then let's go. Mi-chan is waiting.
Reina showed me her usual bright smile. I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. The music cut off, and I was like, oh shit, something's about to go down. Oh my gosh. I actually kind of froze a little bit. Sorry.
but you see, Satoko-chan was so insistent she could do it.
As we were walking, Reina talked about a lot of different stuff, more so than usual. Then
Then, Satoko-chan is clumsy, so she failed no matter how many times she tried. She was so cute.
Uh-oh. My voice changer is freezing. It's not responding. I'm stuck as Reina. Oh, never mind. There it goes. I got my voice back. It's all good. Anyway. Everything Reina talked about was just silly nonsense, so I just replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. We passed by one of our neighbors, and they called out to us. "Oh my! Keiichi-chan and Reina-chan! Aren't you two a bit late today? Mion-chan said she was going on ahead."
Uh-oh, did Michan look mad, I wonder? We need to hurry up, Keiichi.
After greeting our neighbor with a smile, Reina turned back to me and poked her tongue out. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile.
Keiichi-kun smiled.
What? Reina stopped and stared at me.
I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold since you seemed down this morning, Keiichi-kun. But now you seem fine.
With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Maibara. How can you still doubt Reina after she shows you a smile like that? Maybe I just had a high fever up until today, and I imagined everything that I thought happened because I was bedridden and delirious. I really hope that was the case. If God would grant me just one wish, there's only one thing that I'd wish for. I would want what had happened in the past few days, more specifically from the night of the Watanagashi up until last night. I wanted all of that to have never happened. I wonder how many times I'd wished for these past few days. As long as Reina kept on smiling like this, I think it might just become reality. So I wanted Reina to keep on smiling. Keep on smiling.
So, Keiichi-kun. Those mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all?
That vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Reina's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all? Of course she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Reina was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that.
Keiichi-kun?
I was reluctant to give an answer. Reina stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Maibara. Reina was acting the same as always, wasn't she? I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. But both my throat and mouth had gone dry and my lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quickly. Reina playfully mimicked what I said when I finally squeaked something out. Reina's reaction was still normal. Seems that there wasn't as long of a pause as I had thought. Somehow I finally squeaked out the rest. Delicious. However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Reina's expression. For a moment, I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Reina broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well.
I see. So, did you eat all of them, I wonder? I wonder?
My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Is that what she was asking? If I had swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. Nah, I couldn't finish all of them. There's still some left. I was scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it.
Huh? What about the homework to see if you could tell which one Reina made?
That homework. Was it due today?
Yeah, it's due today. Michan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you.
We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could just let myself believe, then even I'd think it was just the usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried beneath the facade of this giggling Reina.
Lies!
I recalled that unexpected piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Reina's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. It was only at that particular time that something evil had Was it only at that particular time that something evil had possessed Reina? No, that was wrong. This was still Reina. Uishi-san told me, didn't he?
Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows.
Reina had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass throughout the school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all of the windows all throughout her school. Just imagine going through your own school, breaking the windows with a bat. Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after another, paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmates aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Reina smiling at me right now, but I just had to imagine it. Impossible because it was unimaginable. That naive way of thinking no longer worked. The unpleasant piercing sound of shattered glass, the crunching noise as Reina treads across the broken shards, walking towards me. Reina's classmates going pale as they forget to even breathe. I wondered what they did as Reina came closer, breaking windows along the path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room to call for the teachers? Probably none of those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight of Reina busting window after window, undoubtedly all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Reina to continue. It would be cruel to blame anyone for looking the other way. No, they weren't simply looking the other way. They knew it was the only way they could... They knew it was the only way they could protect themselves. If they had done something differently from the rest, they may have suddenly found themselves as Reina's new target. What would Reina have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Meaning I would be the next window. Reina staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. Then Reina struck me with the bat over and over again, like I was one of those windows. I crouched down on the floor, desperately trying to protect my head. Reina didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hits me again and again. What kind of expression was she making as she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent. It was completely unnerving. It's because no matter how many times she struck me, I didn't make as pleasant a sound as the other windows. She struck me continuously, over and over again. The sound Reina wanted didn't come out. Our classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me. Turning a blind eye unless they were hanging out? But of course, everyone in class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. They'd gain nothing from saving a cram school tryhard like me. Eventually, there would be a faint sound, similar to when you crack open a walnut and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Reina momentarily lost herself in anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Oishi-san told me. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Reina-san. It shows up, and quite a bit at that. What does? She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. Following that, Reina was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Reina was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. It seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow, looking down at her. That was only a piece of their conversation, so I still couldn't see the big picture. But it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then, what Reina did, was she saying that ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked with Uishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths were the work of men and not of some curse. Except, if it was people perpetrating these incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in those incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was Reina? Was everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the aftermath, Reina had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. So that's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Reina. She did that because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Reina's fault. Oyashiro-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Refusing to believe there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse to blame. Which was the better choice? Accepting that Oyashiro-sama's curse exists, or that Reina and the rest of them were deeply involved in the string of mysterious deaths? I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue, the same as always. I wanted to believe that. But that was no longer possible. I had received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meaning to my own convenience, regardless of whether my opponent were a human or a curse. I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in, for no good reason at all.
Keiichi-kun, you've been making a really weird face. Why, I wonder?
Inhaling sharply upon hearing Reina's voice, I came back to my senses. Before I had realized it, we were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exorcised all of those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there's no way Reina could have done such terrible things. It was like I was trying to placate myself. As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped into the classroom. The chalk dust went into my eyes, introducing a brief moment of agony.
Ho 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 ho! How befitting for the truant Keiichi-san. Good morning to both of you, Keiichi and Reina. Good morning, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan.
Not quite in the mood for it, I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently.
What is this? How discouraging indeed. Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. Yeah, take it easy on him for today, okay?
Suddenly, there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit.
Hey, John, did you get enough rest?
It was Mion. My mind was full with the stuff about Reina, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiichi, that hawkish gaze from yesterday? Yeah, morning.
What's with that unenergetic greeting? Did you eat the mochi I brought you?
I'm like this because I ate them. Those words were itching to be blurted out. I really just didn't have the appetite. I ate a few, but quite a lot were left over.
Huh? What about the homework? Do you have an answer for which one was Reina's?
Keiichi-kun said he'd forget his homework. Ha ha ha.
Sheesh. Then we can't help it. Time for your penalty.
Flashing a lurid smile, Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchanges that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, anyone listening to our conversation up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that, regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maibara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. This free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all, what I shouldn't forget was how dangerous of a situation I was in. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Uishi-san multiple times, I could see it as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. No, calling it a warning was just my habit of understating things. It probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time. Until they had a method of completely erasing me, they were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under their thumb with threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my desk made me recall Satoshi Hoju, the boy who was using this seat until last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have and was erased? Damn, I wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never. But were they really trying to kill me? I've had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt that I had to cover for them. Even having witnessed all of their suspicious behavior, a morning like this just made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. No, that's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends, covering for them, my life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, those points were something that should have been deliberated on a long time ago. But really, Reina and the rest of them, are they actually aiming to kill me? The little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unresolved trains of thought. Are you an idiot, Keiichi Maebara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have just been an accident, right? How could you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of the doubt can only go so far. But both Reina and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous, right? Reina just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked me about what I had for lunch. Reina was standing outside my door eavesdropping for a solid hour. She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside your room? And is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? You heard from Uishi-san, didn't you? What about Reina? Jesus Christ. About what Reina did at her former school? But at the hospital, she said it was Oyashiro-sama's fault. Cut it out, Keiichi Maebara. Do you realize they're out to kill you? Oh, I inadvertently blurted those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I had to look around and check if anyone else had heard it. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Reina and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that. But I was just your average student, a man living his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends, who I had been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday, now intended to kill me? Right? You're too soft, Keiichi. This time I remembered to keep my voice down so only I could hear it. There was only one thing I now understood. I was soft. Too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Reina and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Uishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me. I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made that resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I would probably have happily jumped into that circle.
Bye-bye, Keiichi-san. How rude of you to even think about leaving.
The way Satoko spoke was so typical and familiar, it almost physically hurt.
Keiichi-kun, is today not a good day, I wonder? And we were going to win big together, huh?
Seeing Reina's expression, which said she was really looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey, Keiichi, maybe Oishi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me. Slap. Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face.
Keiichi-kun?
Yeah, was Reina really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it actually was one or not. I just wanted someone to say it was. Ugh, yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive?
Are you alright? Does your head hurt?
Apparently, that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Reina.
You're pale. Can you make it home by yourself? Maybe I should accompany you home, I wonder.
No, it's okay. Sorry. I can get home by myself. Just have the meeting without me. Upon hearing that, I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting. Mion pouted unhappily.
Since Kei-chan was so bent on a revenge match, we were even going to play that deduction game from before too.
Keiichi-san doesn't have the burning desire for a rematch? How pathetic.
I wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head.
Keiichi doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate.
It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It felt so nice, which made things even harder. Sorry, everybody. See ya. That's all I said as I quickly left the classroom. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind. Took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Harden that heart, Keiichi Maebara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them, because they were my friends. Part of me lamented my naivete, while another part lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. It felt like my personality was being ripped in two, along with my body. If this is what Oyashiro-sama's curse was like, then it was just too harsh. Hey, Oyashiro-sama, I was wrong for not believing in your curse, but I believe in it now, completely. Your curse does exist, so seriously, give me a break. I beg you, come on. Oops. I hit the scroll wheel and it went off. It went ahead. Give me a second. Did you believe it now completely? I beg you, come on. Okay, cool. Dinner was unusually bland. It had no flavor or aroma. The miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiled water. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it either meant he had just reached a good point to take a break, or he was in a slump.
So, yeah, he just doesn't understand the motivation creators have.
Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? If it's so hard to agree on things, why not just end it?
I feel like it's an industry with a lot of back scratching, but when it gets in the way of business...
I wasn't able to pick out much of my mom and dad's conversation, but I could tell it wasn't a very pleasant topic. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought processes I had going all day. Friends close to me. No, they used to be my friends, but I could no longer trust them. Right now, I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted, people I could depend on when push came to shove. They were something I just didn't have. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring in the currently hopeless situation I was in. I put down my chopstick and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But what if I told them everything that had happened up until now? Would they understand? Reina, for example, that neighborly Reina who was so diligent in looking after me, came to get me every day, and sometimes brought over a share of what she had made. How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained it, it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom would probably drag me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No, by informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering that the victims in the past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. For the entire Maebara family to have an accident or just vanish into thin air, it was easily possible in Hinamizawa. What was important here was that knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them, which means that this house would be a safe haven as long as my parents were in. I knew these were just assumptions based on conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. It was only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents. No, I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. The only person who could be my ally would be Uishi-san. Him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Uishi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him, meaning it was all going according to his devices. That was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. Then, while the fish started gathering around, Uishi-san would pull up the big haul. It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought that was the best course of action. So then what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. But I wasn't simply bait. There was lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough to tag out. Jesus Christ. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough and tag out to Uishi-san. No question, it was going to be hard. The timing to bring Uishi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hinamizawa, so if I phoned him in my moment of need, it would take him about 30 minutes to reach me, so I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if we set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something, I just had to hide out there until Uishi-san arrived. Okay, I can almost see it now. I was still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring. Oh yeah, it would probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things got rough. Typically, that would call for a switchblade, but that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. I remember that there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push came to shove. If I pretended I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to always carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing. Insurance. It could be something like a note or memo. I could write down everything that's happened as a sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanish, the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Uishi-san should be able to avenge my death. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. I tore out a piece of paper from a notebook and made my way back to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead, so I should only write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Maebara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up often in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I would be in the type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Reina and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. And that's why I couldn't write anything more. I laughed wryly at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading this enigmatic passage? Could only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal never needed to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Oyashiro-sama's curse. Was that too much? I probably shouldn't write more than that. If I wrote any more, then it would seem like I was just delusional. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was of sound mind, I chose not to write anything else at that point. I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about a place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was the chance that they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, if it was too obscure of a location, then there was the risk of nobody finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick my folded note on the back of it with Scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back into its normal position. Yeah, it didn't look anything like it was hidden behind. It didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now I needed to set it up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied, and I made my way downstairs. My parents were still talking about work. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt. I have something I want to talk to you about. I never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. What is it, Keiichi? I have a favor to ask of you. Please, listen. Just in case, yeah?
If it's not urgent, can we do this later? Right now, Mommy and Daddy have something urgent they're talking about.
I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I stated my request. Just in case, okay? If I die... Both of my parents' eyes went as wide as saucers. If I die, I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. If they did that, they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both of my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I couldn't blame them. I made that clock in shop class, and I really like it. So please. What's the matter, Keiichi? Did something happen? Mom was finally able to ask me with a questioning gaze. Of course, this was a normal response for when someone's son suddenly talks about a subject like this. I felt bad about making them worry, but right now I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room. I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Good night. Saying only that, I left the living room. Sorry, I think I played I was trying to mute myself so I can shake my drink up and take a drink. I'm sorry, I was just trying to avoid mouth noises, and I think I played a laugh track. Stupid. Unless it didn't play, in which case then I just sound like a crazy person. Doesn't matter. Either way, I fucked up. Ahem. I needed to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school with Reina. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I talked about it, it would only make things more dangerous. The fight that had begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I still knew nothing. Oh. Stuff. Imagine reading that, the note. I'm gonna die. Good luck with that. Poor parents, right? Oh, that was it? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh. Okay, that was it. Chasing shadows, pursue the truth behind the crimes is that. Really? Oh my goodness. Wow, okay, I guess I'll boot me back into existence. Boop, there we go, sweet. We'll go here. We'll just do this. Good lord. This is really long. I actually didn't think it'd be this long. That's kind of crazy. Unless, like, I don't know. This seems, like I said, it seems really long. Crazy. Anyway, put some jams on. Here we go. All right, sweet. Okay. Ha. I had put some stuff into chat because of my
Voice changer that I have hotkeys set up for.
Anyway, so there we go. That's it for now. Got through a couple more chapters. I have no idea how long this is going to be. I was fully expecting this to be the to be the end of like chapter 1, as it were, but that's okay. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having a good time going through this story. I'm very curious, very interested still, even though I kind of sort of know where it's going. Oof. I do like the setup, the executions. It's all very good. It's all very well done to me. I'm intrigued. I don't know about you. I hope you guys are just as intrigued as I am. For people who might not know, Ray, I know this is your first exposure to this story, this game. So, get ready for next time. Probably, maybe, we'll see. I mean, on Thursday when I come back and play this again, I'm gonna say it there too. I'm gonna say this is probably gonna be the last one, and then I'm gonna be wrong again, and then we're gonna have, another whole month of Higurashi when they cry, just chapter 1. But that's okay. Again, I do like this. I'm great. I'm having a good time with this. My throat's doing fine too. Actually, there was a lot of Keiichi in that one, so I was just mostly able to talk as myself, which is nice. Usually had to do a lot more, like last time, doing Uishi's gravelly voice. It's not as easy. So I'm glad I didn't have to do a ton of that this time around. Give myself a bit of a break. It's nice. His poor parents having a heart attack. They think he's gonna kill himself. Right? Like, that was crazy. Like, that was... Keiichi should have thought about that a little bit more. If something bad happens to me, if I die, put my clock in my coffin. I like it. It's a good clock. Sturdy. Tells the time. Tells the time real well. Okay, bye. Good night. Like, geez. Okay. All right, that's great. Very funny, though. Okay. What's going to happen? What is it? Now I need to know what happens on Thursday. I mean, I love this game. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you're liking it. I warned you. I said at the beginning that it's gonna start off kind of nice, and then it's gonna start getting more and more fucked up. I didn't lie. I wouldn't lie to you like that. And we're in it. We're in it now. I can only imagine what the second chapter is going to be, though. Like I feel like, again, just after seeing the anime, I know some stuff that happened. I feel like I know where the natural cutoff point would be to start chapter 2, but I'm no clue. No freaking clue. I don't know when we're gonna start hitting spots where since my only exposure was the anime, I guess a lot of this is new to me anyway, so I don't know. It's great. It's great. I love this. I love doing this. We'll be back on Thursday, continuing the story, seeing where it goes. I guess I don't have much else to say about it for now. I guess I'll try to do. I'm gonna change Reina's voice. I'll do it. I'll do it now. Screw it. You know, I already got her.
Her new voice set up here. I already have it. I may as well just change it. This is gonna be Reina's voice from now on. Is this one here? Instead of this one. This is the old Reina. This is the new. We changed voice actors.
The voice actors changed. That's what it was. But anyway, let me see here. We got. I know I love FNAF was here. Ray. It's Vesito. I see the rabbit. Thank you for showing up. Bunny Pop was here for a little bit. Thank you all for coming by. I hope I'm not missing anybody. Oh, Icebot. Yeah, I knew there was at least one more. Icebot as well came by, said something. So thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Is the birds in the background still playing? Yes, they are. I didn't shut the game off. The game is still going off. I just realized that myself. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I'll see you next time. I'll be back on Thursday, and hopefully I'll see you then. Bye. I'll see you. Goodbye.